Before we open this file, if you enjoy these stories, please subscribe to the Eris files. It really helps me keep making new files for you. My wife planned a romantic vacation for 5 nights in Cabo. Oceanfront room. Champagne waiting when they arrived. A couple's massage on the second day. She had thought of everything. There was just one problem. I wasn't the other person. My name is Daniel Mercer, and my wife's name was Claire. We had been married for 11 years. And if you had asked me a few months earlier how we were doing, I probably would have said the same thing most married people say. Fine. Busy, maybe. A little tired. But fine. We lived outside Portland in a house we bought 6 years after getting married. I worked as a systems analyst for a logistics company. Claire was a regional sales manager for a medical equipment distributor. Her job involved travel. A couple nights here. A conference there. Sometimes she would be gone most of the week. It was normal. I didn't love having her away, but I never worried about it. Why would I? For years, Claire had never given me a reason to. Then, something changed. At first, it wasn't dramatic. She just seemed tired all the time. Not physically tired. More like she was tired of everything. Work. The house. Family. Me. One night, we were sitting at the kitchen table and she said, "I feel like everybody wants something from me." I asked what she meant. She shrugged. Work wants something. My parents want something. You want something. The house always needs something. I remember trying not to take the you part personally. Instead, I told her maybe she needed a break. Honestly, I thought we both did. We hadn't taken a proper vacation in almost 3 years. Our last trip had been 4 days in Seattle for our anniversary. So I said, "Why don't we go somewhere?" She looked up from her plate. "Where?" "I don't know. Somewhere warm." Claire smiled. "You hate beaches." "I hate getting sand inside my shoes." "That's different." She laughed. And I remember feeling relieved. It had been a while since I heard her laugh like that. I thought maybe I'd found something we could do together. That night, I started looking at flights. Mexico. Hawaii. California. Nothing serious, just ideas. But every time I brought one up, Claire had a reason it wouldn't work. Flights were too expensive. Her schedule was a mess. She didn't know when she could take time off. Maybe later in the year. So eventually, I stopped asking. Then I started noticing other things. She took her phone into the bathroom more often. Then into the shower. She changed a passcode she'd been using for years. Suddenly, packages from clothing stores started showing up at the house. Claire hated shopping. At least, she used to. Now there were dresses, sandals, a new bag, 2 new swimsuits. I actually held one of them up and asked, "When did you start buying swimsuits in April?" She barely looked over. "There's a pool at the hotel for the sales conference." That made sense. So I let it go. Then she changed perfume. That sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud. But I'd been sleeping next to this woman for more than a decade. I knew how she smelled. One Saturday, she came home wearing something completely different. Sweeter. Stronger. I noticed it on her coat after she hung it by the door. New perfume? A sample from the mall. That was it. No story. No explanation. And again, there was nothing there I could point to and say, that proves something. That's what makes this stuff so confusing. Before you know someone is lying, every strange little thing can still be explained away. You don't want to be the paranoid husband staring at a perfume bottle like it's evidence. So you tell yourself you're imagining it. Claire started working late on Thursdays. Then Tuesdays too. She joined a gym near her office, even though we already paid for 5 minutes from the house. She stopped asking if I wanted coffee when she made hers in the morning. That one bothered me more than it should have. It wasn't about coffee. After 11 years, you notice when somebody stops thinking about you automatically. The vacation showed up on a Wednesday afternoon. I was working from home when my phone buzzed. It was our credit card company. A large purchase had been flagged. $3,842. Coastal Horizons Travel. I assumed someone had stolen our card. Claire didn't answer when I called. So I logged into the account. The charge was real. It had been made with her card. I texted her. Did you book something through Coastal Horizons? 8 minutes later, she answered. Yes, work trip. I'll explain tonight. A work trip. Almost $4,000. On our personal credit card. Weird. But not impossible. Maybe the company would reimburse her. That night, she told me her company was sending her to Cabo San Lucas for a leadership retreat. 5 days. Apparently, the corporate travel system had been down, so everyone had to make their own bookings. She complained about it so naturally that I almost felt stupid for being suspicious. When is it? May 18th. That's a Sunday. We travel Sunday. Meetings start Monday. I nodded. Then I asked, who's going? About 12 people. She didn't hesitate. 12. I remember that because the answer came out instantly. The next morning, Claire went to work. I went into the office because I needed a document for our taxes. We shared a printer. There was a sheet sitting in the tray. I almost tossed it onto her desk. Then I saw the words, Oceanfront King Suite. 2 guests. I picked it up. Casa Mar Azul. Cabo San Lucas. May 18th through May 23rd. And underneath the room details was the package. Champagne on arrival. Couples massage. Private sunset dinner. I'm pretty sure most leadership retreats don't come with couples massages. I read the page again. There wasn't a company name anywhere. No group reservation. No conference number. Nothing. At the bottom, it listed the primary guest, Claire Mercer. And right below that, additional guest, Ryan Cole. I knew Ryan. Not well. He worked for Claire's company. Different department. I'd met him twice. Once at a Christmas party. Once at some charity event Claire's company sponsored. He was married too. At least, the last time I saw him, he was. I stood there for a while just holding that page. I didn't yell. I didn't call Claire. I didn't punch a wall. Nothing like that. I sat down. And then I started looking. Claire had used our home computer before and left her email signed in. Most of her messages were gone. But the airline confirmation was still sitting in the trash folder. 2 tickets. Claire Mercer. Ryan Cole. Same flight. Seats 8A and 8B. Then I found more confirmations from the travel agency. One said, anniversary-style package requested. Another said, please arrange 1 king bed. There was a request for flowers to be waiting in the room. I took screenshots, printed everything. The flights, the hotel, the massage, the dinner, the credit card charge. Then I found a black folder in the desk drawer and put everything inside. On the front, I wrote, file number 017. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But I needed the mess to be somewhere. On paper. In a folder. Something I could actually hold. Because my marriage suddenly didn't feel real. Claire came home at 7:20 that night. She kissed me on the cheek. Asked what I wanted for dinner. And I remember staring at her and thinking, this is what lying looks like when you've known somebody for 11 years. I didn't confront her that night. I waited 2 days. Not because I had some revenge plan. I just didn't want to go into that conversation completely blind. I met with an attorney, copied our financial records, checked our savings accounts, changed a few passwords. Then Friday night, I made dinner. Claire came home around 6:30. She looked at the table. What's the occasion? No occasion. We ate. She talked about work. Something about a regional account. A staffing problem. I barely heard any of it. After dinner, she picked up her plate. I said, are you excited about Cabo? She stopped. Not for long. Maybe half a second. But I saw it. Then she turned toward me. I told you. It's work. I know. I put the hotel confirmation on the table. Her face changed immediately. Confusion first. Then fear. Then that look people get when they're trying to decide which lie to use next. Why were you going through my things? It came out of our printer. She stared at the page. I put the airline confirmation next to it. Then the massage reservation. Then the private dinner. Claire sat down. Daniel. Who is Ryan? You know who Ryan is. I know where he works. I'm asking who he is to you. She didn't answer. The refrigerator was humming behind us. I remember that stupid sound because everything else felt completely silent. Finally, she said, it's complicated. I looked at the booking. 1 room, 1 bed, 2 people. That part seems pretty simple. Then she started crying. And I wish I could tell you that I felt nothing. That I looked at her and suddenly stopped caring. I didn't. I still loved her. That was the worst part. You can find out somebody has betrayed you and still love them 10 minutes later. Your feelings don't get the message as fast as your brain does. Claire said the affair had been going on for 4 months. A few questions later, 4 months became 7. It started with phone calls after work. Then lunches. Drinks. Eventually, hotel rooms during business trips. Cabo was supposed to be different. That's how she described it. Different. Not 2 hours after some conference dinner. Not sneaking around between meetings. 5 whole days together. I asked why. She wiped her face and said Ryan had separated from his wife. They wanted to see if what they had was real. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny. So Cabo was a test? In a way. And if it went well? She looked down. That was enough. You were going to come home and decide if you wanted me or him. I didn't know what I was going to do. You knew enough to buy plane tickets. She got up from the table and started pacing. Then came the reasons. We'd become too routine. We didn't talk enough. I worked too much. She felt invisible. Ryan listened to her. Ryan made her feel wanted. You let her talk. When she finished, I asked, when did you tell me any of that? Claire stopped walking. When did you sit down and say, Daniel, I'm unhappy. We need to fix this? She didn't say anything. You asked for a vacation, she said quietly. Yes. And I kept saying no. Yes. Because she already had a vacation planned. just not with me. That was the point where something in me shut off. Not when I saw Ryan's name. Not when I found the massage. That I had looked my wife in the face and said, let's get away together. She told me we didn't have the time. Then she spent almost $4,000 from our money to take another man. Claire canceled Cabo the next morning. Some of the money came back. Some didn't. I honestly didn't care anymore. Ryan kept calling. She ignored him when I was around. Later, I found out they were still talking. Maybe Claire hoped I'd change my mind. Maybe she wanted to keep both doors open. I don't know. By then, it didn't matter. I moved into the guest room. 3 weeks later, Claire rented an apartment. We separated that summer. The divorce took 8 months. There was no screaming courtroom scene. No public revenge. Nobody lost their job. It was mostly forms, bank statements, cardboard boxes, signing things, taking my name off accounts, taking hers off mine. Some marriages end very quietly. That doesn't mean the ending is gentle. The first few months after Claire left were rough. Weekdays weren't too bad. I had work, meetings, emails, a reason to get up. Weekends were different. Saturday morning would come and suddenly I had 12 hours with nowhere I had to be. I stopped cooking, stopped going to the gym. My diet was basically delivery food and whatever didn't require more than 5 minutes of effort. Then my sister Megan showed up one Saturday morning. She opened my refrigerator. There was beer, mustard, and eggs. Something in a plastic container that neither of us could identify. She closed the door. This is depressing. Good morning to you too. I'm serious. So am I. She told me to get dressed. I asked where we were going. Outside. That's not a place. It is today. She drove us to a hiking trail about 40 minutes away. Nothing life-changing happened. We walked. Talked about normal things. Ate sandwiches afterward. But when I got home that night, I realized something. I'd gone almost an entire afternoon without thinking about Claire. That hadn't happened in months. So the next Saturday, I went back. By myself. Then I started doing something new most weekends. A different trail. A bookstore across town. A small restaurant. A nearby town I'd driven past 100 times. Places Claire and I had always said we'd visit someday. I started to hate that word. Someday. It had been our excuse for years. 6 months after we separated, I was cleaning out a drawer when I found the Cabo brochure. Blue water. Palm trees. A hotel balcony overlooking the ocean. My first instinct was to throw it away. I didn't. I sat at the kitchen table and looked at it. For months, Cabo had felt like it belonged to Claire and Ryan. Like the whole place was somehow contaminated by what they did. Then I thought, why am I giving them an entire city? So I booked a flight. Not their hotel. Not their dates. Just Cabo. 4 nights. 1 ticket. 1 room. When the email confirmation showed up, I laughed. I actually laughed. A year earlier, the idea of going somewhere alone would have sounded miserable. This time, it sounded quiet. And quiet was exactly what I wanted. The first morning, I drank coffee on a terrace overlooking the ocean. No one was hiding a phone. No one was pretending they were somewhere else. I didn't have to wonder who wanted to be there. I knew. I did. I went snorkeling. I spent an afternoon reading by the pool. I ate dinner alone and didn't feel sorry for myself once. One night, I was at a restaurant near the marina watching the sunset. A couple at the next table asked if I could take their picture. I did. Then the woman said, "Want us to take one of you?" Normally, I would have said no. Instead, I handed her my phone. That picture is still one of my favorites. I'm sitting there by myself. There's an ocean behind me. I don't look excited. I don't look triumphant. I just look okay. And at that point, okay, felt pretty damn good. A year after the divorce, I sold the old house, bought a smaller place closer to the city. I started cooking again, joined a hiking group, made a few friends who had never met Claire, people who didn't know me as somebody's ex-husband. Eventually, I started dating. It was awkward. I was awkward. But I got better at being honest about what I wanted. And I got better at paying attention when something didn't feel right. I used to think trust meant never questioning someone. I don't anymore. Trust means you give somebody room to tell you the truth, and you expect them to respect that. Claire planned a vacation for two. For a long time, I thought the worst part was that I wasn't invited. It wasn't. The worst part was believing her choice meant my life had somehow become smaller. It hadn't. Claire's vacation never happened. Mine did. File number 017 was closed. The tickets were canceled. The marriage ended. And eventually, I went to the place that used to remind me of the worst week of my life. This time, there were no lies. No hidden guest. No fake work retreat. No checking someone else's phone. I went because I wanted to go. Losing someone can leave a huge empty space in your life. But empty space isn't always the end of something. Sometimes it's just space. And eventually, you get to decide what goes there next. Another file closed. Another secret exposed. And this time, what came after the betrayal was better than what came before it. If you enjoyed this file, leave a like and subscribe to the Eris files. It really helps the channel grow. Every betrayal leaves a file.